Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a big one, the connection between COVID-19 vaccines and your heart. Look, it's a topic that's had a lot of chatter around it, a lot of concern, but the latest science, based on some incredible new data, reveals a really surprising truth. So let's dive in.
So let's just get right to it. The question on everyone's mind. Do these vaccines actually affect your heart? It's a completely valid concern, and you deserve a clear answer, one that's based on real evidence. And thankfully, science has been working hard on this.
And that answer comes from, get this, a massive new study. We're talking about researchers who analyzed the health records of pretty much the entire adult population of England. That's nearly 46 million people. You know, with data on that kind of scale, the picture becomes so much clearer.
Okay, so first, let's just take a quick look at the data behind this huge study in England. 46 million. Just let that number sink in for a second. Researchers had access to anonymized health records, so things like doctor's visits, hospital stays, and death records, all linked together in a totally secure way. A dataset this huge lets scientists spot trends that you would just never, ever see in a smaller study.
And you know, this wasn't some small-time operation. It was a major collaboration between absolute top-tier institutions. We're talking the University of Cambridge, the University of Bristol, the University of Edinburgh, all working with the British Heart Foundation's Data Science Centre and NHS England. In other words, this research has some serious credibility.
So what did all this data actually show? Well, this leads us to the really surprising part of the whole story.
And here it is, the big surprise. For the most common cardiovascular events, things like heart attacks and strokes, the study found that the number of these events was actually lower after vaccination. Let me say that again. The risk went down. Let's put some specific numbers on that, because this is pretty wild. After just the first dose, the risk of heart attacks and strokes dropped by up to 10%. But after the second dose, the effect was even stronger. It was up to 27% lower with the AstraZeneca vaccine and up to 20% lower with Pfizer.
And you don't have to just take my word for it. Listen to what Dr. Samantha Ip, one of the study's lead authors from the University of Cambridge, had to say. She said, quote, "We studied nearly 46 million adults and found a similar or lower incidence of common cardiovascular diseases such as heart attacks and strokes following each vaccination than before or without vaccination."
Now, of course, being thorough means you have to be transparent, right? So let's turn to those rare risks that people have talked about. So here's how it all stacks up when you put it side by side. For those common events like heart attacks, the risk was lower. Now, the study did confirm the known, very rare risks like myocarditis. But, and this is really the key takeaway here, it did not find any new heart-related risks. It just confirmed what was already understood.
All right, so we have these two major findings, a lower risk for the common heart problems and a confirmation of the rare risks we already knew about. So how do we connect those dots? Let's zoom out and look at the big picture.
This leads to a really fascinating question. I mean, if the vaccines aren't the cause of these common heart issues, why on earth would the risk actually go down? Well, the study points to a very logical explanation. The connection is actually pretty straightforward when you think about it. Step 1, we know for a fact that getting sick with COVID-19 itself can really increase your risk of heart problems. Step 2, we also know the vaccines are incredibly good at preventing you from getting a severe case of COVID-19. So by protecting you from the disease, the vaccines are also indirectly protecting your heart from the damage that the virus itself can cause. And Professor William Whiteley, a senior researcher on the study from the University of Edinburgh, he sums it all up perfectly. He says, quote, "The benefits of second and booster doses, with fewer common cardiovascular events after vaccination, outweigh the very rare cardiovascular complications." You know, the findings of this study are really clear and honestly quite reassuring, but they also point to a much bigger idea. In a world full of complex health issues, the ability to securely look at population-wide data like this is an incredibly powerful tool. It lets us replace guesswork with actual evidence. And that leaves us with one last question to think about.
How can we use this amazing power to navigate the health challenges that are yet to come?